called Swing. It is the soundtrack to a dance called the Jitterbug. Jitterbugging developed from dances performed by African Americans in juke joints and dance halls. The Carolina Shag and single Lindy Hop dances formed the basis of the jitterbug, which gave way to the double Lindy Hop when rock and roll became popular.
I like this music.
I think the whole world will be watching the first ever unveiling of the famous jitterbug scene. It was originally filmed for the jitterbug scene was originally filmed for Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, but was later cut from the movie. The footage was never recovered and was lost forever to moviegoers, but it is now restored here in full color. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the Jitterbug scene. Complete at last, Oz heads everywhere can rejoice. Certified Oz expert, this is the first time I've ever seen this recreated exactly as it was originally shot by MGM Studios in Wizard of Oz. The Jitterbug. Jitterbug scene is complete. Oz heads everywhere can rejoice.
Under the Rainbow is a great movie and very misunderstood, but movie buffs know the truth about it. Hey guys, this is Greg Turkington with the Victorville Film Archive.
You had brought with you a copy of Under the Rainbow.
And I have 5 copies of that, but I brought one. This is Under the Rainbow. This is sort of the definitive making of the Wizard of Oz movie. If you like Chevy Chase, this is one of his best movies. And of course, Carrie Fisher, we all love her as Princess Leia. But she shone bright, not only in Star Wars movies, but also here in Under the Rainbow, the true story of the Munchkins.
A Munchkin who hung himself because Judy Garland wouldn't date him. I get this from grade school kids, and I don't mind it from grade school kids, but it's when adults who come up to me to say, you know, there's a man hanging. And it's like...
Basically, one of the Munchkins hung himself on the set of The Wizard of Oz. Fortunately, it was very far in the distance, and it wasn't even noticed at the time of the release. It wasn't until some real true blue film buffs who watched the movie enough times happened to notice it one day.
There's a conspiracy within The Wizard of Oz that a Munchkin hung himself in the background during one of the scenes.
You see it right there on film on certain copies.
Like, what the fuck's going on over there?
It's not on every copy. You have to have the collector's editions. This is the one you want to own because this is the only place to actually see the original hanging Munchkin footage. And of course, it's priceless. So I was very, very glad to acquire it from this dealer.
Did he know what he had?
Oh, no, he didn't know what he had. If he knew what he had, he wouldn't have sold it to me. That we know to be the truth. Now, this is an edition that collectors love also. It's the 50th anniversary edition. Unfortunately, with this, they did find the alternate footage with the bird from the LA Zoo, and they replaced the hanging Munchkin footage with that footage.
We tried to get like the original copy. It's the oldest copy we found. It's literally VHS. And like I said, this is the remastered version. Now they say it's a bird. And in the original version, it straight up looks like a munchkin. Like a munchkin. Munchkin.
I'm going to show you both versions of the Wizard of Oz, of the hanging Munchkin scene, which is one of the most iconic in Wizard of Oz history, if not motion picture history. All right, here we go. We're off to see the wizard. Now, you see that? That's the bird. Let me freeze this. You see what is obviously an exotic bird, like an emu? They found a big exotic bird. I don't know what the breed was, but it was a similar size to the Munchkin. They put that bird in the same corner of the room. This was soundstage number 2. And they shot same scene, but with the bird flapping around, and replaced it in most prints, except for the print that leaked out, and this is the one collectors want to see. This is the suicide of the anonymous Munchkin. Never been identified, never will be. There! Dead. His neck is snapped instantly in a hanging, so... Look at that. Swinging back and forth, dead. People have shared the footage on YouTube and some of these sorts of bootleg sites.
It's not really what the movie's about, though. This is a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, which...
Prequel to The Wizard of Oz, in which we find out how Oz became so great and powerful.
And I would say it's about time, because those of us who are Oz freaks have been waiting since 1939, which is when the last Wizard of Oz movie came out. It was an MGM picture starring Judy Garland.
Ah.
And to wait this long to find out the next chapter is kind of a burden. A lot of people have passed on who saw the original and never got a chance to see the next chapter. And so that's kind of a shame. And as much as I love this movie, and I do love it, and just a preview, I will be giving it 5 bags of popcorn, I miss the Munchkins. I gotta say, I miss the Munchkins. I never thought I would hear myself say that. And I know a lot of them, again, have passed away because they waited too long, but there is still one of the original Munchkins is still alive, and he's going around the country and signing autographs and things, and to not include him in this movie after he's been an ambassador for Oz all these years is kind of a slap in the face.
Well, I wonder if he went to the premiere.
I bet they didn't even give him an invitation. Toto, too. That's another character that I loved. As little dog Toto, and
I love it from the original Wizard of Oz. One of the greatest, probably the most quotable lines in all of movie is,
"We're not in Kansas anymore."
Toto.
And they're not in Kansas in this movie, and I think that's kind of a flaw in the movie.
Right. And I always like to use that expression when, for example, there's something strange going on, or we're in a strange situation. We had a flight recently to Phoenix, and it was delayed, and there was no people were doing a terrible job of explaining what the delay was, and I turned to my wife and I said, "We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto."
Well, if the plane originated in Kansas, that would make sense.
Maybe 2 on the nose. Well, I still loved this movie despite this film being Munchkinless. I'm giving it 4 bags of popcorn.
And Toto-less, too.
Don't go to the theater expecting Toto. But still, 4 bags of popcorn. They lost a full bag of popcorn from me because of no Munchkins.
I'm going to say 0 bags of popcorn because I'm going to say let's take Toto's old basket and fill that with popcorn and eat out of the basket, which is essentially 5 bags of popcorn. I love this movie.
All right. Well,
starring Renee Z. All right. Zellweger. Zellweger. Directed by Rupert Golb, and Michael Gambon and Jesse Buckley. This is the story of Judy Garland after she arrives in London in the winter of 1969. And it's the story of Judy Garland, who is famous for being in a number of movies.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. And so we have this was a great biopic, almost sort of like The Doors or a number of other biopics, Ray Charles movies, and these other kinds of Shine, I think was the name of one.
Bohemian Rhapsody that we covered last year.
Right, which Descartes did a terrific version of Bohemian Rhapsody, the song. Yes. Judy, this was a great movie. It's sort of one of those, it's my Oscar pick. I think it'll definitely win Oscar Gold. Speaking of Rupert Gold, the director, sort of makes sense that gold begets gold, and that's probably why they put them in charge, put them at the helm. This is a great movie. Makes you think about singing. 5 bags of popcorn, easily, 2 cans of soda.
I gotta say, when I was watching this movie, at first I was like, I don't think I want to see a documentary about a concert. That's not really a movie to me. But then when I heard that it was about Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz, it all sort of clicked to me. And watching it, I think, is in a way to go back in time to The Wizard of Oz. They're there in Kansas, and you wonder what happened next. She got back to Kansas. What was the rest of her life like? Well, what if she became a singer? What if she took the influences of the Tin Man and the Munchkins and all these lovable characters that she met and incorporated them into her future life? So this is kind of seeing Dorothy, I guess, sort of at the end of her life and still singing Over the Rainbow. And that's why I loved it. And I think any Oz heads will also love this movie. I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn because that's our highest rating. And I'm going to throw in 1,700 cups of soda because I love this movie so much.
Okay.